What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. It's me, Ryan, the host of Classic Buffalo, the podcast where we interview everyday people's stories in an effort to increase mental health, encourage the sharer, encourage the world. We're out here making a difference through mental health by sharing just people's stories. The deep, the shallow, everything in between. Today, we are interviewing one of my oldest friends. I met him back in 7th grade, so about 12 or 13 years ago. And we still keep in touch. Austin Baier is, me and him have just been through it all. We met in 7th grade, and ever since then, we've stayed in touch. We've hung out so much. We have both become Christian and become non-Christian all throughout, that 13-year process. And you can definitely tell we've known each other and we goof around. And but ultimately, we do cover Austin's background. And we talk a lot about what is it like to deal with mental health, per the norm. This is a mental health podcast, so you're going to get that anyway, right? But you also get to hear about his journey through religion. You get to hear about some pretty cool things. So without further ado, let's get to today's episode, Book 33. What's going on, Austin? Hey, buddy. Hey.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here.
Do you remember when we used to do that podcast?
Oh,
do you remember
yes,
that?
I actually do.
That was a long time ago.
That is funny. I totally forgot, truly. Until today.
Until 2 seconds ago.
Yes.
Yeah. We used to be podcast buddies a little bit.
We talk about sports and faith.
Yeah, I think so.
Strangely enough. Interesting.
We talked about everything on there. Were you on, because I did sports in high school too, because we went to high school together.
Right.
But did you ever go on the show that I did for like the announcements?
That I don't think so, but I didn't play any sports either. Okay. Not in.
Well, what I'm talking about though, doing the sports news. I couldn't remember if you were. We just did the podcast.
Yep.
A few times.
That was our thing. Yeah.
So you're one of the few people that I've known. So I definitely wanted to have you on here. We've known each other for about 13, 12 years. Isn't that nuts?
Yes, it is.
Since
26 now, yeah. About what?
Like 2007, something like that, basically. Like 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Do you remember how we met?
I don't remember specifically, other than it seemed like we obviously talked more once I got involved in church. Right. Yes.
Well, I remember you were in Mrs. Olga's class of 7th grade, and you were you and Wade were the two. Wade Bertrand was like the quarter. He's your stereotypical Friday Night Lights quarterback. He was like the most popular kid in school. Sure. It was like him and you had the deepest voice before anybody else.
That's funny. I do recall that though. Yeah, I mean, since probably the summer after 4th grade, like my voice started to drop. And so since then, all my teachers have always been like, Austin, your voice carries. You got to speak quietly.
Right.
And, 10 years later, I finally got what they were saying.
You ever thought about doing radio?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because of my voice. Yes. People tell me I'd be good at it.
Right.
I don't know if I've seriously considered it. I wouldn't say I have.
Right. But you wouldn't be like in front of like a camera. You'd be like, oh, I want to do radio. Do you think you'd be good at it, or you would do it because people say you're good at it?
I think I just have the voice for it, and kind of the demeanor. Like, you're not going to hear me go off the rails,
right?
Unless it's something super serious.
Were there any things that in your life people told you were really good at, and you just didn't want to do it because it wasn't what you wanted to do?
I mean, everyone always told me I would be a good lawyer,
right?
And I did at one point seriously consider that, though, but I decided not to.
Right.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
But that is one, like, kind of the same thing. People have kept telling me since, I mean, Miss Ogle was the first one to tell me that.
Yeah, 7th grade.
As a teacher. And so I'm like, wow. Okay. Like, and I think it's just because I like to argue. So they're just like, why don't you go spend a ton of money at law school? And I was like, I'll consider it for sure.
What is it, $5? That's not, no. That's way more expensive.
Yeah, a multiple of 20,000 or so.
A bunch of those. You were born here, right? Like, you were born in Hamilton County?
I was born in Indy, yeah.
Okay. So talk about like growing up. I know you had a brother, and he's like kind of like what, like 3 years younger or something like that.
Yep, he'll be 23 next month.
So like talk about family dynamics. You do come from somewhat of a well-off type of background. I know that. You don't necessarily need to tell us your gross income of your family,
Sure.
but like you are probably more well-off than others, but financially speaking. But what was like growing up like?
Close to typical, probably.
Okay.
Like, pretty involved just with my family. I mean, really since probably second grade as well, I kind of went in and out of church with just friends kind of through the years.
Right.
And that became pretty kind of just a big focus of mine just through childhood. Just did a lot of like traveling with family. Got into sports as well pretty young. Baseball. I tried a little bit of everything. Soccer, baseball, hockey, I think.
You tried hockey?
Yes.
Dang.
As a little kid, though. And so
Right.
I almost think, in a sense, like going to practice and stuff, I was like, yeah, this is taking up a lot of my free time. I'm not sure what I think about the whole long term of this.
So what did you do like instead of sports? Because it sounds like you kind of had a switch of like from sports to something else. Did you do something like, did you do video games or?
It seems as though I was pretty lazy because I also had gained a lot of weight as a younger kid. You probably remember I was heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, heavy at one point, but it didn't seem like I played a ton of video games just because, I mean, what, in the
We didn't have that
90s?
much. Yeah.
1990s?
When did you like stop playing sports? Because I think you stopped.
It seems like third or fourth grade
Okay.
is when I was like, okay, no. It had to have been probably third.
Yeah.
Because I remember being pretty heavy in fourth grade and quite heavy in fifth grade.
Yeah. So what did you do like instead?
In that time, just kind of hanging out with neighborhood kind of kids, my friends.
Hide and go seek?
We all sorts of stuff, yeah. Just pretty much a pretty good little group of people. We all just kind of banded together. It was easy because we all rode the bus too. And we did all sorts of like backyard wrestling, stupid stuff.
Were you like jumping off ladders on the tables?
Oh, literally, yeah.
No
I
way.
mean, like, yeah, as little kids, like, I guess that was kind of the thing. Like, we were all kind of able to pull from resources we didn't have, and
Yeah.
like we just didn't care what we broke.
Right.
I mean, we'd hit each other over the head with stuff. Like,
Oh my god.
it was quite intense.
Did you ever get injured?
I don't think anyone
Like
ever
broke
got
a leg or-
seriously injured. No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know, but that was also the thing. Like, we were so young. It seems like we wouldn't
4
have
or
been
5 years old. No.
I mean,
No.
probably like 10 to 15-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was nothing organized. Yeah, it was more just roughhousing, it seems, is what I did for years, honestly.
Man.
And I only got into games in my late teens.
What's one of your like favorite memories like growing up?
Honestly, our vacations. I just, because it was just time away from everything, and my parents didn't have to work, and we could all just focus on a good time, and we were always able to achieve that. And I just think it was interesting, looking back, what made those things so exciting at the time. Like, why was I so happy in those moments? But definitely just vacations. One in particular is Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
Right before, I think it was Hurricane Andrew or Charlie.
Yeah,
but
one of those.
it destroyed the entire place we had stayed. And I just remember like, well, I guess I'm glad I got to experience it all before that.
Right.
And just with my family. And I was young at the time.
Yeah, I had 2 direct hurricane hits like in 04 and 03, I think it was. Like we had to evacuate to South Carolina where my family was. It was nuts. I mean, it just, dude, it's so weird because there's like when you're in the eye, it's just dead quiet. And it's creepy because you'll like look outside and it's like it's not over. It's freaking like horror type like stuff. But then when everything's done, just all the trees are everywhere. But like when you're a kid, you're like, I don't have to go to school for a week. This is awesome.
Oh my!
You know, like but dude,
celebrating.
Then there was like the kid in the neighborhood who had a generator, and it was like, oh, everybody's got to go to Jimmy's house because he's got video games. Like because he's got a generator. They can actually put stuff in the oven to make food. Like other than that, we were making stuff on the gas grill or like just had dry goods, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you just don't, up here we have so many storms.
For sure.
We don't think about it.
Right.
Because it's never that.
And we haven't had a tornado in it. Like that's what we're most at risk for. We haven't had like a tornado like mess up Indiana very much.
Whew,
I don't think so.
Not around here at least. It's like we are at just the threshold where storms, even if they're quite violent, have lost a lot of power.
Right. How would you describe like Indianapolis as somebody who's like not been here before?
Old. I'll just be honest. It's old. It's very. I think it's getting like young though.
Okay. Where?
Which is promising. Definitely down like Indy.
Yeah,
like
downtown.
Inside the circle. There's kind of a interstate that goes around it.
Mm-hmm.
Inside that circle, I think is getting younger and maybe even.
There's that TV show that does house restorations like in Fountain Square on the southeast side of, like I think that's where that the house flipping. There's like a TV show that like take place like in Indy.
I've at least heard of this.
That's like where it's gentrification, where you'll have that, and then
yes,
there's like gang violence just down the street. You know, like that's
yes, violent as well is one I would say.
Yeah, that's
extremely violent. Like
underrated, so like in a bad way, kind of like
yes, it's sad,
deceivingly murderous. That's not an adjective.
No, but I see what you're saying though, because where I grew up. I mean,
right. we're
20 minutes north. Yeah, is like what Carmel was rated the #1 city.
Oh yeah, any place in Hamilton County was like one of the like all of those cities were like top 25 like in the whole country to be raised.
Oh my god. And it's literally 20-minute drive from like you are in some rough parts. Mm-hmm. 30 in traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, where would you want to move? Because I'm sure you've thought about it. Like, do you have like a dream destination where you'd want to go?
I think I used to, and I would have told you Nashville, Tennessee, for various reasons.
Yeah. Because you like the Titans, so like
huge Titans fan. They were also, I guess, I enjoyed watching sports also young.
Yeah.
And that was in fact with family in Tennessee. And I ended up just liking their logo.
Right.
But I followed them since, it's been a minute since you've known me probably.
Right.
Well, since 6th grade, 5th grade.
Yeah.
So, but I think honestly I'd prefer somewhere either warmer, honestly, or somewhere a little
colder.
A little less conservative, to be honest.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, like, what about like Boston? They're pretty liberal, right?
Oh, sure. Most major cities.
Like the Northeast.
Like Nashville itself is probably not so conservative, but
yeah, you're
just in a state that's going to be.
So you don't want to go to Mississippi?
No. Atlanta,
Shout out. So what are you like passionate about?
I would say trying to achieve a state of at least satisfaction, for myself, even if this is selfish, but also helping other people try to. Namely, just people close to me is who I'm focused on. Like my brother, I've really taken a interest in that regard.
Have you always been that way?
No.
Oh. When did that change?
Maybe 2 years ago, I'd say. Probably shortly after leaving college. Yeah, truly.
Right. Was there like a moment, or was you just kind of like, I think I kind of want to start being there for my brother?
I think in part just being in kind of the real world per se. Mm-hmm. That kind of throws it out. I really couldn't tell you. Just a sense of building community. Like it becomes very important once you really don't have any structured one, such as school, I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Or even in certain cases work, because I've kind of been in and out of it. I guess it just kind of, at some point switches, like, okay, I really need to focus on that. Like, for myself.
Right.
But, think, if it can do it for me, it must do this for each person. Mm. So that has kind of been a revelation of sorts. Yeah, truly.
Right.
And it's selfish, but also can be very helpful.
Yeah. There's the ambivalence. My counselor talks a lot about that, where there's like, I'll give you a specific example. There's, you may have a desire, but then you're like, oh, but I can't do it. And the reason is because you also have an underlying desire for security. Not in your case, but just like there's both the desire to change and the desire to want the thing you want, but you also don't change because you do desire security and safety. So ambivalence is accepting both. You want change, but you're also comfortable with like the ambivalence of two different thoughts of like, yeah, this is selfish, but then also like this can actually help other people. That's like supposedly one of the keys to making progress in your life is just starting to accept being human, which would be ambivalence, I guess. It's a big word. I've been trying to learn it and stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like the description of it. And I think it's fits perfectly.
Right. What's like one of your other favorite experiences of like pouring into somebody else, or like one of your, do you have one of those moments?
It was like just, I was like oddly off track in my, I guess, approach to maybe relationships. That's a good term. And we could, tons of ways that we could describe why, but I think, I do enjoy just helping people when it seems like there is a tight pinch and things are not going to go well. And I'm thinking maybe there was this one woman that I helped that I'd known and just helped her out, kind of pay some bills on a month.
Yeah.
And I literally just kind of counted it as a loss, but I remember sitting there like, it's powerful, I think. It's powerful, I'd say.
How?
In both a selfish way, in regards to, well, this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And just a solidarity probably with my fellow person.
Right.
Think how this must relieve them as well. Just knowing that no strings attached, please get help.
Mm-hmm.
Get better. I guess in a way I wish I could have that sometime.
Mm.
And I think that is what is powerful.
Yeah. Do it for someone else, knowing that's something you would want other people to do.
Yes, and it's very powerful.
Right. That's what I was telling other people, is that a lot of times you practice your own love language on other people, and that's what the problem with relationships ends up becoming, is like if you're acts of service and then they're actually words of affirmation, you could be doing their dishes all day, but they just want to hear you say like, I love you, or you're doing a good job. But because that's your own love, and it's like, that's why communication's key. But I think that's really interesting what you said.
Yes. Well, and I think that makes perfect sense too. Just because it is, I don't know that I want to say thoughtless, but give it one more extra, like level of communication, level of thought, and you can arrive at a very powerful place of power, just self-empowerment. I guess that's really what I've been on a quest for.
That's good. How's that going?
Well,
how's your quest?
I would say since college,
which would be 2016, 2017.
I graduated in 2017.
Okay.
That would have been May-ish of 2017.
It's almost 3 years ago.
Yep, almost. That will be. Yeah, exactly. And I'd say it's improved tremendously. Truly. There was certainly a slide off, just kind of with the waves of work. I think in college I kind of progressed to getting quite beaten down, just in regards to, I went in, didn't really care to, but it was free and my parents insisted, and I said, okay, I'll do it. This won't hurt me. So we all hope. And just shit goes badly in a relationship, and that is pretty much the first 2 years of my college experience. Yeah. Which was a shit show.
That relationship?
Mm-hmm. And so exit that, and then I kind of focus more on kind of sport administration. That's what I ended up doing. Yeah. Why? I couldn't tell you. Just that was my thing at the time. Love sports. I might as well learn them. Kind of do that, and I get involved actually volunteering for a cultural education class that I had elected to take. So glad I did. That was the most meaningful part of college for me. And again, it was just the maybe that's where also things started to change, because it was just at a dark time, terrible time. Like, that was a sense of community, and I got one of my good friends involved in it, my roommate.
Yeah, talk about that, because from what you've talked in like off air about this like internship / just that seems like it was a huge source of joy for you. Like, can you talk any more stories about that experience?
Yes. So it was for a class, I recall, and we had two choices. I think I spoke to like the director after we had first went there, and I was like, well, I've got to get something chosen, so let me see what's up with it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be honest with you, like, I don't like kids. But I'm like, my two choices are all with young kids. Yeah. Because it's like a teaching class. Yeah. And so I'm just straight up with her, and I'm like, I will give it a go, but I just wanted to let you know up front, like, please do not fail me. And she kind of was real cool about it. Like, she totally got it, asked if I was teaching, and I said no. And she's like, oh, well, makes perfect sense why you'd be this. And she just became a source of just really almost in a sense kind of a therapist. Because like I'd go there and she'd just ask me, well, how'd that go? How was your day? And I'd sit down in her office. We'd talk for 2.5 hours and then both leave. So it just became her friend, or her name is Jackie Hanneman, and just become a very good friend of mine.
What do you like about her as a person, and that like, because I think she wasn't a counselor, right? But
no,
she gave off or had a lot of the characteristics that were in a good person. What would you highlight was different about her that allowed you to feel comfortable?
I think in part her open-mindedness. Because like when I told her that, right, I could easily envision a scenario where she said, well, that's unfortunate, you better figure something out. You know what I'm saying?
About the kids thing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To a student in college, I mean, I don't know if you ever had a teacher tell you that, but just anything like, oh, hey, I actually had something going on and forgot to do this. Like, tough. Sorry.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But no, she was very just open-minded and very caring. I guess nurturing, too. Like, she challenged me. Both, I'd say, intellectually and just, like, do it. Like, go, try.
Yeah, so a challenging person, but also non-judgmental.
Oh, in the most gentle of ways. Like, that is what it was so, I guess, unique. Like, extremely gentle, extremely caring, like, actually cared about.
Right.
Well, how did that, like, tell me how that actually went. Or, I mean, we would sit there for hours.
Right.
It became 5 times a week. I'd just start going Monday through Friday.
Dang, that's some cheap counseling.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Well, I was going to say,
tuition, but,
well, hey, I also did a lot of work there.
That's true.
So, a little labor.
Right. It's a good exchange.
We paid each other back, yeah, for sure.
Right. That's awesome. What's been your experience either personally or like in your own relationships, close circle wise, of anxiety and depression or just mental health?
Yes. I mean, I would say probably anxiety would be the right term. Like, that's the thing. I only really started, like I said, real like self-empowerment, self-wellness beyond just physical cardiovascular health.
Right. Because you did MMA at some point.
I was
still do.
In high school, like, is when I kind of really got into fitness, and that's when I started boxing.
Right. That's right.
15-ish, so. And that's when I lost. I mean, that's when I got in shape, yeah.
Yeah.
Even 7th grade is when I maybe started. It was years, but yeah, got hit in the head a couple times.
I was doing MMA, taking a ladder and hitting my brother.
Yeah, we had I for sure had several concussions. No question. Like, that is no question, and so.
Well, when you were trying to get to my house, you went up the wrong stairwell, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that all the time. But relationally, anxiety, kind of the feeling of, well, we call it like the fear of missing out.
Yeah, FOMO.
But for me, that was like very intense, like actually bothersome. If I felt as though I was missing out on something. And so it kind of just was maybe a self-eating thing. Like, you just sit there and ponder on it. Like, oh my God, like, what's going on? Like that. So it made me maybe a bit, I don't know if compulsive's the word. Uneasy, though, for sure. Like, just always uneasy. Always not certain. Just more an internal struggle. I wouldn't say it ever caused much conflict.
So it was like manageable.
Yes, like, it didn't have to act out, if that's what you mean. Yes. Or speak.
I mean, do you ever have a panic attack? Or just general, sometimes like anxiety?
I would say not. Honestly, I had not, at least seriously, until probably college in the latter.
Right. What was that like?
For me, it was just like searing pain, and it was.
So like physical.
Oh, it was very bad. Yes, and yeah, I don't know.
People don't know anxiety can be physical.
Oh yeah,
people don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the only way I can describe it, because I was concerned something was wrong, so I would have tests done.
Yeah.
And my doctor concluded, like, well, are you stressed? And I was like, oh, worse than I've ever been in life. Why do you ask? And she's like, well, it could be like you're having anxiety attacks when this happens, because it was a short burst of just. I didn't know how to describe it other than like being cut from the inside of your throat, from the top down to your stomach.
Yeah. And
just straight down the middle. And I really could not do much for several minutes, maybe 3 or 4.
Wow.
That's what it felt like, at least. But I mean, it was bad. But that really was never a thing till college, when I was kind of trying to decide of, do I want to be a lawyer? What do I want to do? I'm about to graduate. I mean, just lots of things. Hit. So.
Yeah. Well, what would you recommend to somebody who has anxiety? What's like worked for you? Is it working out, or what's worked for you?
I'd say that is always the struggle, is finding something that actually, quote, works.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's really just being real with yourself and checking, like, okay, how am I actually doing right now? And maybe just self-evaluation, because you can get down to what's like actually happening, as opposed to, well, what if this, because my thoughts race a lot of times, and that's when you can just focus. It really does help me, at least. Meditation, I would say. Yeah. Extremely important.
How often you meditate?
I mean, I'd say like super seriously, maybe like twice a month.
Okay.
But I mean like an hours long event.
Oh, okay. So you're not just doing a 5 minute. Yeah. You're not doing 10 minutes a month. You're doing 2 hours. Okay.
Super introspection, just self-evaluation. And I'll typically do it with music that I really enjoy.
Do you have like artists or any recommendations?
I have several.
Pour it's some just gonna... sugar on me.
Def Leppard.
Meditating. No.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the important thing, though, is choosing music you personally, it touches you. I guess maybe on a level other than like, yeah, I can get down with this. Like, damn, like that says something to me. Let me like really think on this.
Words or instrumentals?
Both. I mean, think.
Well, because some's just like, like spa music, versus like actual someone like singing or someone doing a smooth jazz. Like,
I agree. There's actually a song I'll listen to when I'm just like really thinking or trying to evaluate something, and it's called the Godfather Waltz.
How's it go?
I won't even attempt, but it's only instrumental.
Okay.
And it's on a album called Italian Dinner Party.
I like that.
So it's on Spotify. Feel free to give it a listen.
All right. Meditation's always worked for me. I play Lowercase Noises. That's a band. They have really good instrumentals. There's a guy. The guy who does it, he's a Christian, but he also does like live. So he does like, you hear the clickety clacks of all. I don't know the names of the different what's it called, instruments and stuff, but he can kind of like like he can kind of like warp the sound as it's like. Yeah. But he'll like go in a desert and just play like some like 8-minute song, and it just kind of, it's this very like
interesting.
It's sick. I love it. But I always listen to his music when like I'm trying to relax or go to bed. There's this. Well, I've never recommended this on the podcast, but it's called "Weightless," the song by Marconi Union. It's scientifically the most like relaxing song. And they have like 10-hour long versions of this. It's just on repeat because people will fall asleep. I fall asleep to it because what it does is there's so many random sounds that your brain can't keep up, so it shuts down.
Huh.
And so it just stops trying, because that's when we listen to music, we anticipate stuff. And and so it can't anticipate where the beats are going, and so you're just like, all right, I'm out. So it's not like you're hot, you don't get high or anything like that. It's not like something crazy, but it's just your brain just like, all right, I'm out. I'm tired. So you can actually, I fall asleep so quick, and then I leave it on. I leave it on like for like a 3-hour timer, and then it'll go off, and I'm already asleep. So it's just it'll keep me asleep. But I don't do it anymore because it's not on my phone. I got a new phone, so I got a new phone, and I didn't have my music anymore. I'm too lazy, but it's worked wonders. But I'll have to check out that one you recommended.
Yes, it's just soothing, I think.
Right.
It just creates a bit of wonder, I suppose, for me, because it doesn't really have a repeating thing. It's it's just like a 2-minute thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a quick like. Doop.
So for the rest of an hour and 58 minutes, what do you do?
You have to have.
Or do you just have it on repeat for 2 hours?
Oh, I have like a playlist. Like it'll go down a thing.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
It's just one of them.
Do you have a motto?
I would say perhaps I've adopted one that I tell a lot of people, but I'm always like, if it's not hurting anything else, anyone, and it makes you happy, I mean, why not? That has really been the way I've tried to approach life recently, and again, it just gives you a sense of control of your life, because you're actually getting to enjoy it. And all we have is now.
Yeah, because usually you end up like trying to, you focus on other people. And in this circumstance, it kind of takes control of, oh, I can't do that because of how it will impact another person. But then with this motto, it's sort of like, well, this really isn't, I don't know, it recenters yourself. I like that because it's just fact checking. They're like, well, I'm just going to do this because it's not hurting anybody and why not?
Yes, and I'd also say, hopefully it's not hurting yourself. I mean,
True.
of course.
Right.
But, yeah, there was a Sam Harris, don't know if you've listened to him at all, neuroscientist and kind of philosopher. But he said it's like we have happiness standing right in front of us, and we're constantly looking over its shoulder, anticipating something greater. And we always miss the moment. Take advantage of not missing it. Focus, pay attention.
Hello, people, wake up! Just wake up to like blaring sirens and alarms every morning. Just say like, focus.
Yes. But I guess that would also be a piece of advice that I would give. Don't keep looking over the shoulder like you have now. Now it can happen for sure.
So when things have been like going difficult, what do you like that other people do for you? Like, what's your love language? What really helps you when you're down? Do you like when people call you?
Like long phone calls. I mean that's like Jackie, my friend at Muncie. When we speak. I mean, like I said, it is for hours.
So do you think talking it out helps for you? Just kind of having somebody to bounce off of? You think just kind of getting it out?
Oh, that I think is extremely important.
Versus somebody buying your dinner, probably.
For me,
it's
yes.
You're not going to say no necessarily, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, just talking it out.
For me, extremely important. But I've always enjoyed, I guess, arguing. Again, the whole lawyer thing. Like I've always liked to just get to what's happening, either in my life or in general or whatever the hell I want to bitch about.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's, extremely important as well is don't kid yourself, especially just with how you're doing, what you want or what you don't want, especially. What do you not want is sometimes easier than what do I want. For me, that's, in a sense, been helpful just because there's just certain things from day to day where it's like, okay, well, I definitely don't want that. So let me try to figure out a way to make step one, step two. And then at least you're closer to what you do want.
What would you give advice-wise to someone who has someone with mental health issues in their life? Like advice to the supporter in the relationship?
I would say just remain open-minded about all possibilities, at least. Because I feel like it's easy to give up on someone, obviously. I think that's why we have a lot of broken relationships. So maybe I think being open-minded would help. Just because for me, I feel, even myself, we all are very close-minded about some things. But certainly many people could stand to be a bit more open-minded on just, well, this doesn't mean it has to be going to shit. It might just mean like, what, again, getting down to what's happening. Like, honesty, for sure.
Where are we at today with mental health, you think?
I think, it's definitely becoming more mainstream.
Good or bad?
It just depends how you look at it. The statistics, I'd say, are sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. But the fact that at least, like, people are starting to know these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that suicide rates are, fifth leading cause of death in the United States?
Yeah, it's like number 1 or 2 for our age group. So
yeah, okay, so... But I feel like we've even maybe...
but yeah.
We've, at least, I remember in high school hearing of it, and it started to kind of become an increasing thing in, one of the greatest counties in the United States?
Right. Yeah.
So that's what's interesting. But as well, just the fact that it's getting out there, I think, much broader. That's also the thing, though. It seems as though people are taking it both seriously and maybe not serious enough. And so just finding that balance in, I don't know.
What are your thoughts on people who so somebody will, let's say, post something on Facebook or they'll make a comment about being depressed or whatever, and someone will say, oh, that person's just begging for attention or they just want attention. What is, I don't know, what are you supposed to say to that? Because if they are depressed and really need something, like, you need to be there for that person, and like, who are you to distinguish the like I can understand you're doing a cop out because it's probably no different than doing something because you know it's going to get views or likes, right? Like, you're just doing something
for attention,
clickbait, right?
Of course.
But at the same time, there are also the people that like actually could really use the help. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think some people, I would even say, I think maybe do it for attention. And that was the less serious thing I was kind of alluding to.
Right.
But I think that still to be open-minded about it, just because you will never know. I mean, really. Like,
right. As a supporter, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're going to go through some sort of testing and be quite weird about it. But I think just keeping an open mind to...
Like, what are you losing by supporting that person, regardless if they're doing it for attention? Like, what is the... I don't know what
and what do they lose by at least, like, good attention? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they say? And are you... just something like, oh, hey, like, what was that about? I guess a curious way as opposed to... Yeah, don't ask them like,
what was that about?
But, again, I think just taking interest. Because for me, I mean, that was the whole community center thing. Like, she seemed to actually take an interest in me.
Right.
And that's what was enlightening. So I think maybe be open-minded and just try to take a genuine interest. I mean, people are interesting. They're live. They have something to say. And it could very, very well surprise you.
What do you have to say?
We all need to focus on being the whole thing, just being honest with ourselves and striving for what we want, what makes us happy. I mean, for me, that's just so important, is to at least be satisfied, if not happy. But there's obviously certain things that I think we all do that we would easily be able to say, yes, I want to cut this out of my life. Okay, well, why not? Why not go do it? You know what I'm saying? And it's just, for some reason, it's like, no, don't do that. Just keep doing what you're doing until you have something rock solid, 100% certain. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know any successful person who's ever like, yep, I waited my whole life until I was 100% certain something was going to happen. And it's like, you do have to take a bit of a jump, but it's progress. No matter what, you're moving. Don't be stagnant.
I didn't want to hear that. I mean, I've been feeling like that recently, just like so many different things. Just like, all right, I'll make a move to do XYZ once I have everything figured out. Until then. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, was like, I feel like I have the desire for like XYZ, but I also have probably a stronger desire for comfort and security. Like, to have a stable job, to have a stable house, to have a stable, like, to have all of those things that keeps me from like doing probably what I like and what I love.
What would make you like happier?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. That is the biggest hurdle. And it's one that, like, if we approach, though, with, like, honesty, I mean, just think how much better things would be. And again, say it so casually, but you definitely can do it. It is achievable. It's just a matter of, I'd say, positioning, but depending on what you want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's always possible, because, I mean, just look at everything that's been done. I mean, shit, we had a satellite land on fucking one of the moons of Saturn. Like, I promise you can do it.
Right. That's so true. Dude, I watched this video the other day about like the span of time, like, like of just what's gonna happen in the next trillion years.
Okay, yeah.
And like what percent of the universe like we are.
Yes.
Of today, and how it's like I got all the way to like probably. What is it, like 98 zeros? So like trillion, like in the future of like black holes have swallowed everything. Protons have like are gone. Black holes start like it just was in the last black hole explodes, and then everything just fizzles out, and it's just like there's nothing. There's no like reset, and then it does it again. It's just like, and I was like, and here I am complaining about like just traffic when the odds of being alive, are, like.
Oh no, hey, I'll bitch about traffic too. I tell you.
This asteroid's not moving.
But yeah,
space traffic's gonna be that'll be a thing.
Oh,
space traffic.
That'd be wild. A Star Wars type scenario.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Right. What are your thoughts on like intelligent life / like humans as a whole? Like, are we the first ones? Are we the last ones? Are we the, do you think there were people before and we're just like another, wave?
In regards to at least like life, you know what I'm saying? Like we definitely weren't the first. In regards to intelligent life? Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah, because like there's theories of like, there's stages of civilization and like... I see. The argument for why there aren't intelligent life or we haven't discovered it is because they either haven't come yet, they're aware of us and they don't want to interact, they have already and we're just not noticing, or like they've already come before and they hit a wall and that wall wipes out intelligent life and we haven't hit that wall yet. That it is coming, kind of thing. Yeah,
I think that would be interesting. I mean, I don't think that's happened here, at least, on Earth.
Okay, so you're saying it's possible, like, for another planet?
I'm at least open-minded to.
Or a universe.
Yeah, like, probably somewhere we've not even seen yet. But that's just the scope of how big things actually are. Right. Like, I don't know that we ever would come across.
I never smoked weed, but I had, like, a weed thought. That's not even a thing. You can
tell, I'm sure it is a thing.
You can tell I've never smoked.
That's all right. You
see the sun and the moon every single day, and you have to always look at something every day and know you'll never go there. Because unless you're an astronaut, but even then, we're not just going to the moon every day.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
And you're not going to the sun.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely not going to the sun.
Right. Where were you? You got a tan. I went to the sun.
Yeah.
No,
we took a little ship out there.
You died really fast.
But,
would you, if Elon Musk, like, knocked on your door, would you, like, go to, like, wherever we're Mars? Like, would you live on Mars? If they paid you and stuff. Aren't they, like, rounding people up for that?
For a Mars expedition? Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. I've heard at least they're taking a trip, so I would hope it's qualified individuals, not... Yeah.
Not like
Elon Musk comes knocking on my door, I'm going to be a little confused. But,
do you remember that movie that came out like recently with like the dude who gets stuck on Mars? It was like not Brad Pitt, but
and it's just called Mars.
No.
Oh.
But it's like about a dude who gets stuck on Mars and he like has to come back.
Is it Brad Pitt?
It's not Brad Pitt, but it's like one of those like he's like a Boston type guy.
And is Sandra Bullock in it?
Maybe. No, you're thinking of not Interstellar.
Interstellar, that is what I was thinking of.
Or no, there's the one where she's stuck in space.
Yes, and then one dude goes in like a prism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about then, yeah. Can't think of the name.
We're thinking of like 7 different space movies.
Yeah. And then an alien jumps out.
Yeah, and the monkeys. No, you're thinking of Planet of the Apes, Matt. Anyway, that must be frustrating to listen to this. But
that's all right.
But I was saying, like, that'd be funny if Elon Musk like goes to one of the actors, like thinking, like, oh, well, he's been to Mars. Like,
oh my God!
Like, no, dude, I was in a movie about it. Like, no, just get on the plane.
Yeah, this wasn't a documentary.
Right.
It's like, what?
Do you have like a favorite movie of all time? I'm guessing Scarface.
Well, The Godfather.
Mafia. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, mafia related.
Which one's better, Scarface or Godfather? Well, probably Godfather because there's 3 of them.
Like the actual Godfather, Marlon Brando's character, Don Corleone.
Don't you talk like this?
It was just so great. Like I can relate very personally. I feel like.
So you like movies?
Yes.
I don't really know who says no to that question, but
I hope not.
Is there beauty in movies? And if so, what's a movie you think is really done well? I mean, you can say Godfather again, but is there like a movie you've seen recently or like you're like, oh, that's a really good movie?
I think, I mean, I don't know many people who wouldn't say it's well made at least, but Joker is a good one.
I haven't seen that.
And see, I think that
spoiler free.
Yeah, it will be spoiler free. But just like if you read a lot of the reviews and stuff, like people actually say it's pretty provocative in terms of thought about mental health. And I went and saw it, and I agree. Yeah. And watch it, and I think you will get it for sure.
Ooh. Like
you will get it. I don't know that I'd say moving, just because like I mean it focuses on kind of his fall, I suppose.
Right. What do you think the solution to mental health is?
I think being aware and not being afraid to move. I think that is the issue. Certainly in college, that was my issue in many respects. Is just when I stubbornly refused to move, very aware something was off here. Like I am not doing well, obviously, but why not change something?
Anything, just to switch.
Yes, switch up your routine. just try to do something different. And that's also the thing, like, I've never really had to worry about finances, so I've always been a little free in that sense. Just at least try to switch up your routine. Let's say you've never worked out, try to work out. If that's all you do and you're still not real pleased, work out less.
What if I'm afraid to go to the gym?
Plenty of things to do at home. I mean, I used to just walk up and down my stairs.
Really?
Yep. If I was just not feeling it, and I remember it could have been for any reason. Maybe I'm just pissed. Maybe I just want to walk in my house. But you can do tons of, and I probably lost at least 10 pounds just doing that for a few weeks. But I lose weight easily. But I just remember it was relaxing. Did it with my dog. She's running up and down with me, and I'm getting a workout. It's very good for you.
Right.
Or you could find just calisthenics, maybe is not the word, but like body weight workouts online. They are plenty of them.
Did you ever get into like protein and all that kind of stuff? You know, like just
like supplements?
Yeah, like supplements, like my pre and post workout. Like, did you ever get into with the shaker stuff? You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
With the ball.
Yeah, I would do my post workout mostly because like for a while I was so thin. I dieted heavily, and so that was just a way to get like 100% like precise calories. Like one scoop is a set amount of protein, and other than that, no, I never really tried the pre-workout because I could really achieve anything I wanted really easily. I still do gain and lose weight, just up, down.
Right, it's a choice.
Yeah, for me it is really.
So you're like Thanos with your weight. You're just kind of like snapping.
I mean, it is almost that way. I tried one day to lose as much weight as I could.
Yeah.
Lost 7.5 pounds.
In one day?
Yeah, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
What did you do?
I did some cardio. I ate only vegetables for me. I know that's how I was
1 grain of rice.
And then I ran 100 miles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly went to the gym, went for maybe.
Did you have to like make weight, or you just wanted to?
This was recent. Yeah, I wanted to like check my morning weight and how far down I could go by night.
Wow. And
it was again about 12 hours. Yeah, almost a pound an hour.
So if anyone like texts you like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You're like, "I'm busy."
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose a bunch of weight.
Oh, just don't even message. You just go do it.
Do not disturb for the day.
Airplane mode. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really got into it.
You never got like obsessed with it though, right?
With training?
Yeah, just training like so focused on like weight loss, weight gain, like all that jazz.
I would
just kind of did it.
Maybe when I started, because I got really thin at one point. Like, I mean, I remember once I had weighed 18 or so. I was 156 pounds, which for my frame is quite small. That's just skinny. I was skin and bones.
Well, depending on what doctor you go to, that's probably still overweight.
Could, honestly.
That stuff gets ridiculous. Sometimes.
Yeah, like you have to really throw away the weight thing and just how do you feel?
Yeah.
And are you in good health?
Yeah.
And it just for me it's always like how do I look to myself?
Right.
And that's all I really care about. And but it takes a while to get to that point.
Right.
Like
so you and I have shared faith as far as I could be wrong, but I think I was the one who got you to go to church at some point. And we went to church for a long time. We had the same like youth pastor. Like we would hang out, and we would like my most memories are me and you before school. That was like my most prominent memories. Like every day I'd walk into like your car, and we just put on the aux. We'd watch YouTube videos or whatever. But talk a little bit about your faith journey a little bit because I know it's a little different and somewhat. We talked off air about it being similar now. Kind of just ironically, kind of being Christian for a long time, both of us, and then now recently, kind of pursuing our own path and trying to just explore different things. Like just talk about your own faith journey and stuff like that, and where you're at now.
When I was younger, it was very much just someone would ask me to go and I'd go with them. But it still made me like acute to interesting. What's this? There's a God? And so from my earliest memory is like second grade going with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. I was like, wow, this is intriguing. And yeah, in and out, pretty I at least like was aware of it until probably about high school when we started going. You invited me, got involved with the youth group is what kind of set it off.
Yeah.
Because you invited me to youth group, and then I went to church.
Well, we went to Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes. And Adam.
Yeah. With our youth pastor, we just go hang out at Taco Bell.
Yes. Again, another, like, he could build a community because it was as if he just wanted to see how we were.
Right.
He made it like, hey guys, how is everyone? Like, actually, how are we?
Just go hang out.
Yeah. And
he's a good youth pastor.
He was great guy, I think, honestly.
Rest in peace.
What?
No.
Oh my God.
Sorry, dude. He's in Idaho as a cop now.
An officer, cool.
Yeah, he's got like 3 kids or something like that. But
yeah, I know.
I probably shouldn't have done that to you.
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, what?
Rip his career, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but hopefully he's doing.
Yeah, well. I mean, he seems like he's happy. I haven't really talked to him much.
But I haven't either. Yeah, like that's the thing, kind of.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's all good. So in high school, I mean, really get dedicated to it after going for some time. Again, just a good source of community at the time, and I really started to just kind of, at least internally, start to buy into a lot of the things that were just in the Bible, being preached, whatever. And I really gave me a sense of something. It was at least motivating, I'll put it that way, strongly so. Again, kind of that fear of missing out thing, maybe. Or fear of what you might be going to. Yeah. So, like, hey, I might not make it to heaven. Holy shit.
Yeah, right.
So,
you heard of Pascal's wager, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like...
So, for those who don't know, Pascal's wager is the fact that you become a Christian or you become part of a religion based solely on what you can earn from it. Like, I'm gonna believe and either maybe even fake believe so you can get access to heaven, and there's no like heart behind it. You're just doing it out of like logic and just like a safety net. It's like a safety net. Yeah,
exactly. And that was something that was preached in the church,
right?
Which is
turn and burn. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
right.
And then, really bought into it in high school. Followed it, I would say pretty closely. I mean, I adhered to as much as I could. I mean, I don't know that choir boy pins it exactly, but I tried at least, Like, right. I made that was my goal for some time. Mm-hmm. Probably my second year of college when I actually moved away from home. And I actually came across some, I can't exactly remember their names, but it was certain pastors that I had listened to who apparently were quite popular. And then I would watch things about the Westboro Baptist Church. And I'm sitting here dude. Okay, these are all people in the same thing. So anyways, at this point, I had went from like a full-blown, almost I'd say kind of, I had blinders on. Like it was, I made it my way for sure. Mm-hmm. And I disregarded many other things. And then in college, it really opened that up. And I think in part that was kind of my struggle through college was me trying to discover, like, this has been a pretty big part of my life, at least for a lot, from my adolescent years.
Yeah,
certainly.
Long time.
And so that made the struggle all the worse in college. Now I pretty much would consider myself totally atheist, if not anti-theist. As in, I would be relieved if there wasn't one. So, I literally did a 180. And
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm agnostic at this point. Like, I think that's the frustrating part is, like, at Taylor, like, I learned, like, I became way too liberal for Taylor. They're very conservative. Like, one of my favorite not my favorite memories, it's one of my worst. But, no, it's like, what am I talking about? It's one of my memories is we took an apologetics class where, what is it? You're either Calvinist or Arminianist. So do you believe it? And there was like a lot of free will, predestination. It was like all these different and Calvinists, they believe if you ever like decommit, you were never saved in the first place.
Right.
Like, you're not one of God's chosen people. So like at the very beginning of the semester, I chose like, I don't know. And so, and he was like, at the very beginning of the semester, he's like, oh, there's a few of you, like, you'll change your mind. You'll pick one. And at the end of the semester, I still was like, I don't know. Because I'm like, I like 3 of these, 2 of those. I'm like, if there is a God, there's probably some combination. It doesn't need to be one thing, right? I've had doubts in my faith, I guess, and I've thought so many times about walking away. So am I not even saved? And I was like, what about the person who spent their entire life, 35, 40 years of being Christian? They're like, this isn't for me. So they were never saved in the first place. Like how offensive that is. And just like how for them they were saved or whatever. So I raised my hand. Like this is the last day of the semester. Yeah. And I was like, through your class, I have lost my faith. I was like, I have felt like I'm not a Christian. I felt like I just did all this stuff, and people start turning around. They're like, mouth drop. Like, what is this kid doing? And just dead quiet. And the guy goes, I'm praying for you. And then that's it. And
wow.
Like, and just
okay.
And then the class walked out, and somebody came up to me like, hey, thanks so much for saying something. Like, you're not the only one who's like confused. Whatever. And I was like, thank God. Like,
yeah, for real.
And it's just, I got hammered of like, if there's a God that has to be a certain way, there's always the literal, 7 day, the world's made in 7 days, but they ignore scientific evidence and stuff like that. But I've always just been like, if there's a God, it has to be this perfect thing and things have to all make sense. And so as an agnostic, it's sort of like, what's really hard for me is learning through apologetics, a lot of the scientific backing of Jesus and like what he did exist. And like, there's so much like evidence of the Bible. There's so many, what's it called? Like there's more copies of the Bible, like historically, than the Odyssey or something like that, or references to the Bible than the Odyssey, which would be like the number 2 production of all time, or something like that.
Sure.
But the things of like, well, whether he was actually God or not, but like Caesar was aware of him, like Caesar existed, like he was aware of Jesus, like other people were, but it's like, did he do those miracles and did he like rise? But it's like, so that's what's been hard is like, I've been hurt by the church. There could be a lot of scientific, like the Big Bang. I'm like, all right, okay. Like I've always been like, if there's a Big Bang, I feel like God could still create that. Yeah. If there's a God, he can. There's a how and the who. Those can be separate. Of like, there could be a God, and how he did it was through science.
Sure.
So that there was, I don't know. But anyway, it's just like I empathize with you of just like, I'm sure you were hurt by the church too. Like, or just like how did
certainly
was there
some of it's. I mean, certainly by some of its adherents. I mean, I think you can easily find whatever sort of preaching. Just you can definitely find people who have not thought things thoroughly through, and we're all getting this from the same book. Keep in mind, or go find 12 different Christian denominations, all from the same book. Like that is what was really my skepticism. Like once I really opened up to. Okay, so you arrived at a different conclusion. So did you, and I am all reading the same book. Okay, and we all just say, "Well."
Did you know the Mormons? They believe that black people were bad spirits.
Yes,
and they like took that out after like 1963.
Isn't that nuts? The 20th, like that is something that 8 years ago I would have been like, I don't know, there must just have been a flaw in something. And it's just like, what? Like, you can, like, that is something you cannot afford to be totally closed-minded in.
I feel like if there's a God, there has to be nuance and understanding. I don't know if there's a half-assed God, but if there isn't one, that's fine, I guess. It still sucks because there's nothing after, I guess. But But at the same time, it's sort of like if there is, it has to somehow all like they're at the very end. I feel like there has to be like we could go on for another 3 hours on that kind of stuff. But it's been interesting to just kind of watch your own faith journey and just kind of figure it out. But like, what do you do for community now? Because I know like when you're religious, having a community is kind of like a thing you get with it, as a church. And so you got bowling night, right? What do you do to hang out with people these days?
I enjoy drinking, which again, one of those things I would not tell people to take up, but I really enjoy like wineries or beer tasting. Like for me, and
what are you enjoying right now?
Easy to get people to honestly wine.
Like, do you have like a Pinot whatever? I don't know a lot about
it. It is actually it's a red like candy wine from French Lick. And they mass produce it. Yeah, it is best thing I've ever had. Literally candy, just a little bit of cheese, trying different foods. I'm like, oh yes.
So we're gonna wrap up here. I've got my fun 5 questions, and then we're gonna do our last part.
Cool.
Number 1, what if you could have any dinner guest you get to go to dinner with anybody in the world that's alive, who do you go with? Today,
Oh,
right
God,
now.
right
go,
now?
Go.
I'd say
Liam Neeson.
no, Sam Harris.
Okay. All right. Why?
Just he is. I mean, this is a man who went to Stanford, dropped out to go experiment with psychedelics for a year in like Indonesia, somewhere where monks are. What is that? And then came back.
Like Tibet.
Yes, probably. And then came back, got his degree, and went to become a neuroscientist. And he's like just a philosopher now. Still, I mean, incredible man.
Solid guy.
Love to hear him.
Where would you go to eat? Popeyes?
Eat.
We're getting to
Little
Popeyes.
Caesars.
Little Caesars. It's hot and it's ready.
Yeah, I have no clue where I'd eat. I would probably go try some sort of either crazy drink somewhere or a dessert.
Cracker Barrel?
No. It'd have to, I'm sure it'd be like, or some sort of seafood. I don't know. Right now, it would be called the Oyster Factory in Hilton Head. Best food I've ever had.
What if he doesn't like seafood? He's like, dude, I can't meet with you. I really want a Popeyes chicken sandwich. Have you had a Popeyes chicken sandwich?
No, but I've heard people are dying over it.
It's over. I mean, literally, yeah. Dude, I was standing in line when it first came out, and I waited in line for 30 minutes, and I got to the front of the line, and they ran out of sandwiches, and they gave the last one to the dude in front of me.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, people were ordering, I'll take 4, like kind of they were just taking them to go, flipping them on Instagram. No.
Oh, my.
I'm kidding. It was nuts.
You probably could at this point.
Oh, for sure. But then, I got it. It tastes like chicken. If that makes like almost like a deli type chicken. Yeah. Whereas Chick-fil-A, it's like, oh, you can taste the seasoning. It's still fun. Like the pickles are better. If you're into pickles, they have a better pickle. But as a whole, it just tasted like a decent sandwich. Chick-fil-A is still number 1 for me.
Damn. But I mean, theirs is really good, so it makes sense.
Right. Who is your celebrity crush that's a man and a woman?
Woman, I have probably 2 right now. Barbara Blank.
So only get 1.
Oh, well then I'll say Shania Twain. Always has been. Okay. Always will be.
All right. Shout out Shania Twain.
Absolutely. I would do anything. And then man, I have no clue.
Matthew McConaughey.
Al Pacino, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just because I've always, every movie, I like him.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
I like Any Given Sunday. I like that one.
I honestly haven't seen that.
That one's where what's his false? His face. Jamie Foxx is the quarterback. Oh. They're like the Miami Sharks.
Is he young or old in this?
Medium.
Okay.
Or older. Probably 90s.
It sounds familiar, but yeah. I didn't realize he's been there for so long. Jamie Foxx.
What's your last meal?
Like oysters or something.
Okay.
I love seafood.
All right. I hate seafood. You're crazy, man.
I try to be.
If you could pick any celebrity to be the next president, who would you choose?
Oh my God.
Dwayne, The Rock Johnson.
Holy shit. I don't know.
Kanye.
That is painful to even have to choose. Celebrity. Just right now, I'd say Keanu Reeves. Seems like a level-headed guy.
Oh, that's good. Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Dude, ISIS puts out a video of killing a dog, and everything's over. We're going to...
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Keanu's like, excuse me? Over.
John Wick takes over.
Over. John Wick, United States, Part 4.
Yes, but he seems like a...
World War Wick. World War 3.
Oh, yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
World War 3. World War Wick.
I'm down.
Copyright.
If he becomes president, I guess you heard it here first. I came up with the idea.
There you go.
I'll be his campaign manager.
And the last question is, what's your favorite part of yourself?
I'd say it's a gift and a curse, but my thoughtfulness. I mean, I think about everything pretty deeply.
It's good.
So again, but double edge there.
Right. Yeah. All right. So here's the last part. You're gonna pick one person. Doesn't matter, significant other, friend, family member. Doesn't matter. But you're gonna encourage them. Thank you, Janice, for everything you've done for me. You were such an encouragement in high school. Whatever you want to do. But you're picking a person and pouring into them. You're going to share this part of the podcast with them. Huh. So you're just kind of pouring into another person.
Mm-hmm. I'd say something to Matt, my roommate. I mean, because he was my roommate all through college, too. Yep. And so just for we've been through a lot together, and I anticipate we will be through much more. And I would just say one of the few people I've ever counted on so holy, I think, to be there, and always is. And I'm extremely grateful for it, and I just look forward to, again, we're trying to build something ourselves and motivate each other, and just I look forward to continuing that journey. I think it'll be a good one.
It's been nuts. We've known each other for like 12, 13 years.
Yes, and stayed in contact. One of the few people from high school, honestly.
From middle school, really.
Yes.
Stay in touch since middle school.
I mean, probably the only person, other than Matt. You and Matt, really.
You and Wade Bertrand, the star quarterback.
I see him in his cop car. Oh my gosh.
Dude, he pulled my mom over. He pulled my mom over, and she was like, "Wade Bertrand, is that you?" And he's like, "You know how fast you were going?" Like, he didn't recognize her. And she's married now, so her last name's not Monson.
Mm.
And so it said Nugent, so he didn't know who my mom was. And she's like, "You played football with my son," and he's just like, "What the like?" Just this lady. He's never heard of a Nugent.
Yeah, who the hell's she's like, you're not in Sheridan, lady?
Yeah, what? Oh my gosh, this is fun. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining me, man. It means a lot for you to be on the podcast, and we'll keep in touch, right?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a good time, for sure.
All right. Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the Classic Buffalo podcast. Wanted to take a second to talk about Anchor, how I'm actually making this podcast happen. Super happy that I'm partnering with them. So, Anchor is actually the easiest way to make a podcast. I've done my research. This is basically the best way. I promise. It's going to give you everything you need in one place for free, which is the best part. It's going to have tools, so you don't really need a fancy schmancy recording guy. Anchor's going to be helping you out there, and then they're going to distribute the podcast everywhere to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, everything. And then you can also make money with basically no minimum listenership, which is kind of rare. So hop on Anchor as soon as you can. Thanks. Welcome to the Debrief, where Ryan's gonna talk. A little bit of a goofy end for you guys. Thanks so much, Austin, for joining me on the podcast. I've definitely wanted to have him on just because we've known each other for so long. We've been through so much together. You know, we've both become Christians and non-Christians within the span of both of us knowing each other. We would spend pretty much every high school day chilling in his car, like listening to music or watching YouTube videos. And I can't remember if we ever had lunch together, but like the lunch period. But like we spent a lot of time together in high school. And it just kind of was cool to reminisce on some specific moments. Like, hey, remember this guy? Remember this? Or, you know, that was kind of cool for me. And, yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I'm enjoying both aspects, to be honest. Having both people I have no idea, you know, I could never met before. I don't know their story. I'm going in completely blind. And there's other times where it's been like really cool to have somebody that I actually know and have a previous background, kind of like Kyle. Like that was like another example of someone I've known a long time. But both of them are valuable, and they just kind of mean different things to me. So shout out to all of you guys who are brand new strangers, wonderful people, or you know, awesome people that I've known for a while. So shout out to both you guys. Just wanted to point out a few things for you guys. One of them being that like anxiety can be a physical sensation. I think that's very kind of can be unknown in mental health, is that we all feel it differently. You know, it doesn't have to feel like your guts are about to spill out of your stomach, but you know, you could have the tightness in the chest, tightness in the throat. You could have a heavy blanket feeling. You could feel like you're vibrating. You could feel like you're starting to get a little hot. You can start to mind racing. There's so many different symptoms, but usually kind of a hyperactivity, flushness of the skin. There could be different types of signs. Everybody experiences it differently, like I said, but you also don't have to have a panic attack for some of these things to happen. It doesn't have to be like, you know, DEFCON 5 for you to be really struggling. Just wanted to make that kind of aware to you guys who are kind of in a supporter role. But please reach out. Try and be that person like Jackie, you know, was for Austin. You know, you don't have to be a certified counselor to really deal with other people and support them. And a lot of times us being supported, aka me, you know, Austin, like we want to support others as well. You know, it's not just like a one-way street here. We want to be a a mutual street. It's just we're going to need a little bit of time up front, that's going to require, just some work. But at the same time, we're not trying to just take, right? Like some of us are giving people. So I just wanted to point that out. The person who is the Jackie, who's not a certified counselor, that there's value in that person. And if you need help, I would, I guess, pray, hope, wish that you can find a person that's a family member or friend that can be that for you, because that's a very valuable person. I have an actual counselor at this point. That's kind of the best thing I have. But, ultimately I do have to pay for it. And, I'm not texting them throughout the week, which kind of sucks. Or, keep checking in and all that kind of stuff. I might like look into something like, what's it called? Like Talk Life, maybe? No, that's not what it's called. Talkspace, or gosh, I'm failing, but it's like one of those just apps that you can like text, or, you have a 30-minute session a week or something like that, but it's like the same cost. It's still kind of expensive, but, still trying to figure that out right now personally. But, shout out to Austin for at least having somebody that's really nice. And shout out to his roommate. I'm pretty sure I knew who he was talking about, Matt. Matt and I also get along. We don't really talk very much after high school, but there's nothing against him. We just, never really hung out after. But he definitely a solid guy, funny. If he thinks I'm funny, I like him. So, but shout out to him for being a support for Austin as well. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to highlight some things from this episode. And, made it another day. We're almost to the end of the week. It's almost Friday. It's Friday Eve, baby. Nothing much. I'm still off my meds, still trying to figure that out. Still trying to kind of play it by ear and try and make it day by day. Sometimes it's really, really hard, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to take one of these. Which I have a kind of a med thing that's kind of like an as-needed anxiety medicine, but other times, I'm having a pretty good day. So we've got some good things going on, and we've got some things that are hard. That's life. So we're in 2020, baby, and we're kicking and winning, kicking and fighting. That's what we're doing here. I'll make that into a shirt or something. But until next time, here, we'll make it till next Monday. I love you. I'm proud of you. We can do this together. Thanks for joining in. If you want to be, let me do this now. If you want to be on the podcast, if you want to join me, we'll talk for like an hour and a half about dogs or anxiety, depression, or football, or whatever you want to talk about. If you want to, or somebody who wants to, DM me. Let me know. We'll have you on the podcast. There's anybody can join. It's not like a prerequisites or anything like that. So, all right, now I'm done. Talk soon, guys. Bye.